Greetings from Owen Field after OU beats Temple 51-3 in their season opener for the Tulsa World OU Sports Extra team. I am Nate Fekend, joined by Berry Tramel. Barry, there's a lot of good, some bad sprinkled in, but mainly good. Starting off with the defense, there's a lot to talk about with how they played out there today.
Well, you know, we've been talking, Nate, for really since 8 months, since the end of the 2023 season, that going into the SEC, the Sooners actually are in better shape on defense than offense, and I think we saw why tonight. I mean, defense playing without some key players and still dominated. Now it's Temple, so temper everything with that. But that's what a really good defense should do. I think Temple had 13 first downs the entire game and not that many yards. And really, I think the closest they got to the goal line was the 19, and that inside the 40 once. So dominant defense. The Kendall Dolby play was just a fantastic play. He breaks up a pass and then tips the ball, and then it's intercepted. So six takeaways. That's what you want out of this defense. And it's a good thing the defense is dominant, because I'm not sure the offense is SEC ready. We've been saying, is OU SEC ready? Well, maybe it is, and maybe it's not, depending on which side of the ball you're talking about.
Sure, and you spoke about the offense a little bit there at the end. Some injury news there, and then a pretty big debut from Deion Burks.
Oh, yeah. I thought Seth Luttrell had a very strong day as his first game as an offensive coordinator, getting the ball to Deion Burks in a lot of different ways. Brent Venables said that it was mostly vanilla, but I saw some wrinkles, too, out of Luttrell, some of his formations, things we had seen in the past from the Sooners, hadn't seen a lot under Jeff Leddy.
They ran a reverse on the first play.
Well, yeah, and they ran two back set. It was cool, and they had the double wing, which is basically creates a formation that doesn't have a strong side, which will freak out a defense when you don't have a strong side. People lock up, don't know what to do. So I sort of liked what I saw out of Luttrell. They got the ball to Burks on not just the jet sweep, but a reverse, an outside screen, and then some dump passes, some different kind of ways to get him the ball in space. So he had 3 touchdowns in the first half, so he looks like the playmaker that people thought he would be, and he's going to be needed because now, with Farouk out, they're down two frontline receivers. So that's going to be key. I thought the big thing to me from a negative standpoint, I just didn't think that offensive line blocked that great. I mean, we had some good runs late. Sam Franklin had a 30-yarder in the third quarter, third-team tailback. Tatum, the freshman, had 2 big runs in the fourth quarter, but, Temple had sort of checked out by then. When the game was, early, Sooners didn't block them that well, and that's worrisome to me. I think it's something Bill Bedenbaugh can figure out, but he's eventually going to have to figure it out against somebody better than Temple.
Sure. You mentioned it was Seth Luttrell's first game as coordinator here. To kind of wrap things up on the other side of the ball, going back to the defense again, Zach Alley's first time as defensive coordinator here at OU, and I noticed in the post-game press conference, first time for everybody to talk to him, a lot of, this is an 8-month-old question, yeah. But what'd you think about him and his debut here and talking to him today?
Well, he was a very impressive guy, I thought. You can see why people have likened him to a young Brent Venables. I asked Brent, did he make all the calls? Brent said yes. We've been wondering what's going on there. We think Brent's been calling the defense the previous 2 years. We had reason to believe he's turned it over to Zach Alley. But, when you work that closely with a guy, who actually is making the call, a lot of those decisions are made during the week in conjunction in a meeting room. It's not just off the top of your head in the game. So that's something that's overblown. But I thought it was a pretty strong debut by him. Temple is not representative of a good mid-major, much less a good SEC team. But they dominated, the 6 takeaways, a lot of pressure on the quarterback, not a lot of missed tackles, didn't seem like a lot of missed assignments. So it seemed like this defense, and we saw a lot of big plays. Again, Kendall Dolby, my favorite play, but this looks like to me like a big playmaking defense, and that's what this team has not had. Remember, Alex Grinch got here and started talking about takeaways. And it took them 10 games to get to 6 takeaways. So get there 6 tonight. So lots to be excited about that OU defense. And if Bill Bedenbaugh can do what he usually does, then there's no reason to worry about the offense. But That's the one thing that I came away concerned about.
Sure, that'll wrap things up on our thoughts on their debuts. This is wrapping up our debut from Owen Field for this season. Make sure to stay tuned to the Tulsa World for plenty of coverage from the OU Sports Extra team.